WTF Nation Radio.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
All right, we're back. We're back. For real, though.
That's always happens.
It always happens. All right, we are back for the second half of Friday Night Freedom here on WTF Nation Radio. My name is Kaz, and that up there is Pookie. Actually, it's a rabid gremlin. That's like Yoda after one toke of the marijuana.
The devil's lettuce.
Yeah, I posted this for those wondering. That band is called Another Round. They're a Navy veteran-fronted band, and they're out of Oklahoma City. So after the show's done, go to Facebook's or go to YouTube's and type in Another Round, and their videos will pop up. They got a lot of good stuff. Always enjoyed having them on. They just did a Elegy of the Green Beret at the Whiskey Sessions over in outside of Oklahoma City. It wasn't Oklahoma City. It was somewhere outside of Oklahoma City. But they did an acoustic set, and it was really cool. They broadcast that on their Facebooks, and we restreamed it, so that was awesome. Oh, Carl Whalen, what's going on, man? Hope the babies are doing good, sir. So I promised a story that involved MPs, and I'm just curious if you guys ever did this. Here's the story. This happened in South Africa, Cape Town. So this is probably not MPs. So I need to figure out which story this is. Two South African police officers in Cape Town were arrested on kidnapping charges. How did they get that? After they grabbed an innocent stranger off the street to replace a prisoner who had escaped under their guard. So they didn't want to get in trouble, so they had to turn somebody in. So they went and just grabbed a random stranger, brought him into custody. The shocked innocent man found himself handcuffed and in a police car, accused of housebreaking and theft, having been switched for the criminal. Despite protesting his innocence, the Cape Town cops threw this man into the cell. He was homeless, obviously. He was homeless. The homeless man's pleas that he had done nothing wrong fell on deaf ears, and he spent the night in the jail behind bars before a police detective arrived in the morning, and then realized when checking the case file and listening to the man's story that the officers had switched suspects. The actual suspect had been arrested for breaking into a house and theft, but the officers realized that he was in need of medical attention, so they took him to the local hospital for treatment. While he was there, the suspect managed to escape, and the officers drove around for hours searching the area, but they could not locate him. So the two senior officers decided that the police station knew that they had a suspect and they had to bring someone in. So they just went and arrested some random guy and brought him back to the police station. How fucked up is that? How unlucky do you have to be on the receiving end of that?
Sounds like a My Cousin Vinny kind of thing.
Right? We got the story. The story goes on, and it's just they were afraid. They were afraid of losing the suspect. Not getting caught for replacing the suspect with some rando. They were just like, we got to do something. And the good idea fairy said, bling, here you go.
Snatch a homeless guy.
Snatch up a homeless guy and call him the suspect. I'm just giving you, I was just giving the MPs a little bit of a hard time.
I lost my suspect, so I'm just going to arrest this random guy right here. All right, it works for me. Yeah,
we got to figure out the guy the actual suspect needed medical attention, so they took him to the hospital, which was the right thing to do. But then he jumped out a window or got away somehow. Those details aren't there.
You said they got arrested for kidnapping, right?
They ended up getting busted for the whole thing, and they got arrested for kidnapping, and they've been in jail for a good little while, and I think they've been arraigned and they're being held, and I think their trial starts in like October.
Okay. At least there's something getting done about it. I like that. At least it's not like here where you get like some cases they'll get administrative paid leave.
Right? Yeah, you did something very, very bad, so we're going to pay you what we would normally pay you. You're just going to sit at home, get fat, and do nothing.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm not. I got to ask my brother about that because he was on medical leave for a while. He had a shoulder injury when he was doing SWAT stuff, and he was out for like 3 months for like surgery and recovery. They wouldn't even let him work a desk. So I'm wondering, like, if it's in the military, when you come back, you gotta, a certain amount of time you gotta pass PT test and whatnot. Wonder if their recovery period is the same as or similar to the way the military runs things. After if you get injured, you get so long to recover. I didn't, man. As soon as I got out of the hospital and off of my profile, they were wanting to give me a PT test right away. I had a shattered fucking arm, a broken hip, and a cracked skull. And they're like, you need to do a PT test. Yeah, Baconator, this that is pretty damn cold-blooded. So Carl's update is that his unborn kid is doing good. So that is really, really good news, Carl. Thanks for updating us with that information. I'm very, very happy to hear that. So do you have a Samsung phone?
Yes, I do. I've always had a Samsung phone.
I've had a little. Let me see. My first cell phone was a Nokia flip phone. Second one was I ran the gamut of flip phones. This is before the smartphone stuff started coming out. And then I had my first smartphone was an iPhone. And then I updated that to other iPhones along the way. And then I finally switched over to Samsung. Just because it doesn't matter to me. I recovered all of my stuff off of Apple, all my music and stuff, all my iTunes stuff. I brought all that over painfully slowly, but I eventually did it all and brought that over into Samsung. So that's okay. But you drop your phone and you have to take it to these repair shops and stuff. And you're actually just relying on the technical expertise of these people to replace your cracked screen. There's no factory training. You just do it. It's not like they're trained by Apple.
Difficult. They're not that difficult to replace, though.
They're not, but you can't, as a private citizen, email Apple and say, hey, I need a processor replacement, or I need this part or that part, or like a Tesla. You can't go to Tesla and say, hey, send me a widget that fits in this section over here. You can't do that. So there's a lot of stuff, medical equipment, especially during the pandemic. A lot of the ventilators were breaking down and people weren't able to get them repaired because you had to wait for a technician. There was no right to repair. But now there's the Federal Trade Commission came out and it was like a unanimous right to repair agreement. They said during an open commission this week, this was on Wednesday, the Federal Trade Commission voted unanimously to enforce laws around the right to repair, thereby ensuring that U.S. customers will be able to repair their own electronic and automotive devices. The Federal Trade Commission's endorsement of the rules is not a surprise outcome. The issue of the right to repair has been a remarkably bipartisan one, and the Federal Trade Commission itself issued a lengthy report in May that blasted manufacturers for restricting repairs, but the 5-0 vote signals that the Commission's commitment to enforce both federal antitrust laws and a key law around consumer warranties called the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act when it comes to personal device repairs. So I think that's mostly geared around toward if you crack the seal, you void the warranty.
Yes. I get that concept. If you have a warranty and you crack the seal, that's voiding your warranty. That's going to happen. But if you have a phone past this warranty and you want to replace something in it, you should be able to buy the parts and fix it yourself.
Oh, correct. I completely agree with that. I mean, a lot of Tesla owners are kind of, and there's YouTube videos on this. Dudes are buying 3 and 4 crashed, totally ruined Teslas to fix their one Tesla that has a display issue. Trying to piece part these parts from other similar models just to make their cannibalization, trying to make their Tesla work again because they've fallen out of the warranty period. And from what I've heard, I'm not experienced in Tesla. I do not drive a Tesla. But everything is just hunky-dory, roses and butterflies and all kinds of good stuff happen when you're within the warranty period or your service contract. But as soon as you're out of that service contract, it's hands off. They won't talk to you. They won't give you any information. And you're going to be paying through the nose if you go through they don't have dealers. They have authorized repair people.
Yeah, you gotta have your thing towed off, and when you're in the service warranty contract thing or whatever it is, if you have a problem, they'll replace your car. They'll give you I think another Tesla to drive around in until your Tesla's fixed or whatever it is. But when it gets to that point, like past the warranty or whatever it is, now you're stuck. You got to get a rental. You got to pay the extravagant amount of repair fees. It's just insane at that point, huh?
Christopher Measle says, "Hi, this is Rachel. I'm calling about your auto warranty."
Exactly. There's another company too that this was really big. I've been following this for about a year now. Speaking about right to repair, John Deere. And a lot of people don't realize how crazy it has gotten for John Deere. I mean, these are farmers that rely on these tractors pretty much. Well, they have to, they're doing the same thing Tesla's doing pretty much. Where, hey, and especially everything's computerized now. They got GPS and all kinds of crazy things in these tractors.
Yes.
If something breaks in that, they have to ship it off to a repair, whatever, authorized repair dealer or whatever it is, which could be in some of these rural farm areas 600 miles away. So now they're out of a tractor for 2 weeks during the peak of the season. What are they supposed to do at that point? Huh? So a lot of these guys have started hacking their John Deeres, and John Deere's trying to go after them. And there was this huge, in Nebraska somewhere, I think, there was this huge case going on about right to repair. You'll never guess who showed up. I think it was a lawyer from Apple and a lawyer from Tesla, I think, showed up.
Of course.
Trying to talk, no, this is good for the customer. No, it's not good for the customer. All it makes it just line your pocket. You keep control of your hardware pretty much.
So Shelly Ann Ripley says, I've had the same thing happen with my washing machine. I will have my washing machine broke down, and I was basically told it would be cheaper for me to just get a brand new one because there were no authorized technicians or parts within 100 miles.
See, now, okay, everyone's talking about green, let's go green, let's worry about the environment and stuff like that. And go buy a new one, throw the old one out. That don't seem very environmentally friendly to me at all. That seems like a waste of good equipment.
So I sat down and I thought, I'm like, okay, what would make, what would be the benefits of a right to repair thing? If I could buy repair parts to repair my computer here, I've obviously got the right to repair that. I can buy whatever to make it work, or I could just buy another one. But if I were to fix it, that would be a lot better. And I wrote down 3 things. Repairing your own crap is better than, I got 3 items. It's better than recycling. It saves money because you're not buying a brand new whatever it is. You're repairing whatever it is. And it actually will teach and enhance technology and engineering.
Oh, exactly. I used to love fixing, just tinkering with things, like fixing old busted laptops and stuff like that. Now some of these newer I guess they're Chromebooks and iMacs and stuff like that. If you take a part out of there and that part does not match the serial and they catch on to it through the internet or whatever it is, they'll brick your shit.
No kidding.
Yeah, they will brick it. They were doing that with iPhones a while back. I think it was the 7 or the 8. People were having their screens repaired from a third party, but since that screen was an OEM part and didn't match, when they'd run the system diagnostics, they would just brick the phone and not allow you to use it anymore. That's just to me that's crazy. Like, okay, I need to change. That'd be like having to go to the BMW dealership every time I need an oil change. I'm not allowed to go anywhere else to do that. That's ridiculous at that point. Huh?
Well, I bought a service contract with my car, so I get like free oil changes and tire rotations for like 3 years. So
It's
yeah,
not bad.
So I've paid
It's
for
not
that, so
bad.
I'm going to use it. But after that, guess what? I'm going to take it to my own oil change place, or it's actually cheaper to do it at an oil change place than it is to do it myself. You got to take into consideration the you got to buy the oil, you've got to dispose of the oil properly.
Most AutoZones will take the oil for free off your hands.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah, and I've got a tank here at my local AutoZone that will they'll reclaim my oil for nothing. All I got to do is go into the back and dump it out in my big orange juice containers. But yeah, it's just, if you look at it, it's cheaper for me to go to.
Well, I mean, you go to there's markets in China. I've seen a Vice thing on this
Really?
a while back, where you could literally just walk down. There's like tech markets where you can buy a little like this ROM for specific things, or you name a part or electronic piece, you can find it. Like wholesalers that are just selling it. And if you need to fix something or build something, you just walk down the market, be like, okay, like old Radio Shack where you could actually buy like resistors and transistors and capacitors and shit and build your own because Radio Shack was for building radios and not and computing parts, not selling laptops and cell phones.
Yeah, way back when.
I think or you build RC cars or something like that. You need to build your own chips. You can't do that here in the States. You can't find almost anywhere. I don't even think I can buy resistors at Lowe's. I think I have to specially order them from China and have them shipped here at this point.
We've got a couple places in Dallas when I was going to college, and I'd have a project. There was a place, Fry's Electronics, obviously, was a really good place to get breadboards and things, resistors and other components, ICs, certain ICs they would have there. But there was a place in Carrollton, Texas. It was just this old, in an industrial district. It was just these folks would reclaim, like they would recycle computer systems and other electronics and stuff. And you would go there and you would find just buckets of transistors, buckets of capacitors, buckets of resistors, buckets of everything. If you needed a board, there was a board there. And they had all kinds of stuff. They would break all of these big components down into smaller components. So it was really cool to go and find a servo motor and to find a microcontroller that was still good and you can program. And it was really it was a godsend. It was awesome because you could spend hundreds of dollars on these online educational kits, or you can go there, spend $10 or $20 and about a couple hours out of your time. So yeah, that was really awesome. So those places do exist. You have to find them though.
This is rare in the States. Heck, I think we have a shortage of auto parts right now. And I'm in my area. They were talking about it on the local news earlier 2 days ago. Like, can't find auto parts anywhere. It's getting crazy. Like, if I can't fix my car.
Well, right now, the used car market is huge. There's a lot of car lots that are just empty. They don't have any inventory, used or new, to sell. And that's because of some certain chip. I was reading about this too. There's a chip shortage from China somewhere, I think. That like Ford. It's not like there's a shortage. It's not like these chips don't exist. It's just there was such a slowdown because of the Rona that these chip manufacturers were selling to other parties. So you have millions and millions of chips that were set aside for the auto industry. People weren't buying cars, so they're like, okay, we're going to take all these and reallocate them to other people who are going to pay for them. And that's where those chips are. Eventually, it's going to swing back to the auto industry. But right now, it's just, they needed to find some buyers for their chips, and they did in other industries. I wonder if they went to the PC market, like all the computers and stuff.
I don't know. There's a there's still a GPU shortage going on because there's crypto stuff going on.
Everyone's mining.
Everyone's mining. The gamers are just infuriated with the fact that like every time a new chip comes out, they disappear. Like I know a lot of gamers who are running on like 5th, 6th generation stuff, and they just bought that at a crazy price. Like they finally got their hands on it. And the new stuff flies off the market like crazy. If you get your hands, you're gonna pay $3,000 for a video card easy at that point. It's
No
nuts.
way.
It's crazy.
And that's all because of what? People paying cash for
You got the scalpers. They call them scalpers. You know, guys that'll buy like 20 of them up at retail price and then turn around and sell them at 4 times retail price because they know people will pay for them because well, what am I going to do? I'm building a computer. I need a graphics card.
Okay. I thought maybe it would have something to do with people buying parts to assemble machines that do like Bitcoin mining and whatnot.
That too, yes. Yeah, I mean, GPUs power the Bitcoin mining industry pretty much.
Okay. See, I don't know what it takes to mine Bitcoin. I was like, man, I wonder what would that take to be a Bitcoin miner? But then I see stories out of, I don't even know what country. It might have been Taiwan. It could be China. But there was like a steamroller rolling over all of these Bitcoin mining machines, and it was nothing. It was just it was. At first, I saw the picture. I'm like, "What the hell's that?" It's a steamroller rolling over something, and then you read the story, and those are like machines that were confiscated that were used to mine Bitcoin.
I know a lot. I was reading a story on CNET. A lot of these Bitcoin mining companies are coming to the States. It's flourishing in the States. It's crazy. It's like a new industry.
They're getting shut down in their own country, so they're coming to the United States to do business, which is use all the electricity you want as long as you pay for it.
Exactly. Pay for it. But, when we have rolling blackouts left and right, I don't know if it's going to stay out of California.
Yeah, we're going to have a bit of a tough time here this week. It's supposed to be like almost 100 or whatever. And ERCOT's already put out a statement going, the lights will stay on. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
It's sad because I was always proud of Texas for that specific reason. And now it's crazy. Like, I guess it's just poor management. I don't know what, because Texas, you could just buy from whatever power company you want at that point. It was a great part about it. It's just like, oh, well, I want to get, this company, they're cheap, and that's the way it worked. It was like an open free market kind of thing. And now it's just like people out here, people getting their smart nest eggs like shut down, or the temperature getting locked at like 90 degrees or something like that because somehow the power company got into it and locked it out.
Well, it's because when you set that up, you let that permission happen. It's like not reading the terms of service agreement.
I got you.
So you can do it. You can keep other people from getting in there. But you have
rip it out the wall and throw an analog one on there and see how they deal with it.
That's what I've got. I mean, it's digital, but it's not something that's web based. I don't think I will never have a web-based lock on my house. I will never have a web-based thermostat or anything that controls anything in my house. I can connect to my oven with my smartphone, but it's not connected to my internet. It's not.
But I don't understand the need for that. No?
Diagnostics. If things aren't working correct, you can run diagnostics on it. My washing machine and dryer are like that too.
Just like but Bluetooth into it, you can see it'll give you like a pretty much like a cut sheet of what's going on with it. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Like for my refrigerator, I can do that, and it'll run a diagnostic. It'll tell me what the problem is. It'll give me a part number of the part that I need, and I can go to Frigidaire and, for example, for my refrigerator, and I can buy that. Or it'll send me a text message. It'll say, "Hey, your water filter needs to be changed."
I totally agree with Scott in the chat.
What do you say? We need more nuclear power plants. Yes.
I totally agree with that.
I totally
agree with that. Our irrational fear of nuclear power plants in this country boggles me to no extent. I mean, we've had maybe 4 major incidents since the 50s, 60s, 80s.
The only problem I have with that is nuclear power plants do produce a lot of waste. What happens to that waste? What do you do with that? You can't just
Well,
bury it.
we had an awesome place to put it, but it got shut down back in like 2010.
Launching
11.
it what into the sun?
No, we had a mountain. What's it? Yucatan Mountain, where we would just dump all that stuff into the middle of the desert. They dug a hole down, way down, and just left it there. Out of sight, out of mind. You don't have to worry about it.
But but you're contaminating. I mean, essentially that's contaminated land. Yes, I agree that it's not being used, but eventually that pit is going to fill up, and you're going to have to find somewhere else, and it's going to be somewhere close to a population. Eventually, I mean, we've got a lot of land that's not used in the United States, but I don't think a good way to treat that is to put nuclear waste there. That's the thing that horror movies are made of.
Hills have eyes.
The hills have eyes. Exactly what I was thinking. So I got one more story. And this is this will piss you off. It pissed me off. I'm still kind of pissed off about it. And it has nothing. It's government, and it's government. It's a government thing. And there is a COVID-19 relief program. Money, lots of dollars were granted, American taxpayer dollars. Nothing is free. Always remember, nothing is free. If the government provides it, and they say, here, have free healthcare, have free this, that, or that. Here, have a free stimulus check. That's not free. Someone's paid for that. Someone has worked hard to pay the taxes to allow that to happen.
No such thing as a free lunch.
There's no such thing as a free lunch. I got into a conversation on Reddit. If you want to get into you go to Reddit and you say something anti whatever. They were talking about like free lunches for kids in school or whatever. And the only thing that I said nothing is free. Someone has to earn without receiving for this. Someone, and I say in parentheses, the taxpayers are paying for this. There's nothing that's free. But all of the people that were in support of this were telling me that it's for the kids. It's free food for the kids. I'm like, that doesn't mean that it's not. That doesn't mean that it's free.
What's it? K through 12 education is free for the public, but people pay for it. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't understand. People pay it property tax. They pay it in whatever tax. They're paying taxes for this education. People don't understand this shit.
So I just kind of chalk that up to these. I'm not sure if they're adults that I'm talking to, because you never really know. Once you start becoming an adult, and I've even seen a change in my kids, and they're 19 and 20, so they're realizing that shit doesn't grow on trees. You gotta budget, and you have to plan, and you have to set a goal, attain your goal, and then have enough money to have a down payment for a car, or you have to pay the security deposit for an apartment. You have to pay for your car insurance. You have to pay for your cell phone, and these things just don't happen. You just don't get things. You have to earn things, and I was kind of viewed as like a hard ass growing up. But my kids earned things when they were growing up. They didn't just get shit.
Good parenting. That's just good parenting. That's all I gotta say.
So
I applaud you for that.
So members of the and if you all are in Michigan and you know how to pronounce this properly, I'll take your corrections here in the chat here. Members of the Shiawassee County Board of Commissioners agreed to share a windfall in federal COVID-19 relief funds with employees last week. The guidelines of that dispersion is that relief funds can be used to provide additional pay of up to $13 an hour for employees with a maximum of $25,000 per person. What they didn't tell the public was that top-level administrators for the county would be receiving far bigger payments, up to $25,000 each, than frontline workers who were directly exposed to the coronavirus as they were cleaning buildings and provided vaccines for residents. The top level administrators in that county received $25,000 each from the relief fund. Department heads received $12,500. Middle management officials received $5,000, and chief deputies, health department employees, and attorneys received $2,500. The breakdown, written by County Coordinator Brian Boggs, shows employees identified as quote-unquote cleaning staff received $2,000 each, and all other employees not categorized received $1,000 each. Commissioner Marlene Webster, a Republican who represents a portion of the city of Owasso, says, quote, "It's a blow to our county workers' morale at a time when it's difficult to keep good workers. I think it shows a serious lack of acknowledgement of what people actually did during the pandemic." Webster said that she intends to give back the hazard pay that she was awarded, but says that she's not certain the distribution of federal funds to employees can be reversed by the county board. Commissioner Cindy Garber received a $5,000 payment, said on Tuesday that she has absolutely no intention of returning the money that she was granted, saying that it pales in comparison to the additional money hourly employees were able to make during the pandemic by collecting unemployment while they were laid off 1 day per week. That's jacked up, dude.
That's as bad. This is just as bad as me hearing about. Remember Flint, Michigan, with the water crisis that they had, and during the middle.
No, it's still happening. It's still happening.
Oh, it's still happening. But during the middle of all that, the city council had the audacity to increase their pay to something insane. With all this, I don't know if there's federal funding coming or whatever it is, but the first thing they decided to vote on was getting more money. You know, it just agitates me to no extent. These people should be tried for fraud at that point, huh? Because I know this is the same thing that was happening in my county here with my mom. She's a corrections officer. They're like, oh, we're essential workers are going to receive a certain amount. They never got that shit. No, I don't know who got it. My mom's still curious who got it. No? But they didn't get their extra. I think it was supposed to be like $4 an hour because they're essential workers or whatever it is. You know, they never got that shit. No?
My daughter, during the beginning of this, she was working for Costco. They all got it was like a $2 or $3 an hour raise.
Awesome, but that was the business doing that.
That was the business. The business was doing it. There were no incentives or funds or, COVID relief programs or nothing for that. The CEO of Costco says, I'm going to pay you all some extra. I just don't like politicians, man. The older I get, my distaste for politicians just rises exponentially because it's very rarely do you meet a politician that's actually doing it for the good of their
genuine, I guess.
Yeah, doing actually representing the people that voted them in. I don't know if I could name anybody. I really don't. Arguably President Trump. I mean, the man never took a paycheck.
Ron Paul.
Ron Paul there was never a question where he would fall on a subject, on anything. He was like, is it in the Constitution? Yes. Okay, let's discuss it. If it's not in the Constitution, then we shouldn't discuss it at all. That was very easy.
That's what a politician is supposed to do. Constitution, yes. Constitution, no. Then we'll discuss. Simple as that.
And even if it's in the Constitution, you can have a discussion on how it should be implemented, if at all. But if it's, so much there's. It's like politicians now are people that kind of graduated up from homeowners associations, and then they went to city council, and then from city council they started getting, deeper and deeper into it's a control thing.
I can't. Okay, here's a story about my area. The way local politics is just jacked up to no extent. Like, if you really want to get into the reason why this country is so screwed up, look at the grassroots of it all. There's root rot going on right now. But Like we had like a surplus of something like along the lines of, I think it was like $15 billion, and they really need to do infrastructure around here real bad. But instead of that happening, some lawsuit came down, and now there's legal discord. And by the time all the lawyers are paid off and everything, that $15 billion is going to be nowhere at that point. Because they acquired that money, or someone got paid in the wrong method, or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was just so. All that taxpayer money is now gone to some lawyer to delegate this crap out. It's they're the scum of the earth to me at this point.
Root rot is a great analogy.
Root rot. This is the best way to put it. I mean, they always talk about, oh, these political movements started at the grassroots. Well, now you can't even get near the grassroots at this point.
Well,
because
there was it was a BLM organizer who is now no longer associated with the BLM organization. She just bought herself like a house that's a couple of $1 million, and
it's like two houses.
And I don't know all the details behind that, but it's just like, they get into a position where they can actually get paid more than they're worth, and they pander and make money, and then they pop their parachute and get out. And that happens on all sides of the aisle. I'm not just picking her out. It's that's the first one that came to mind.
Notorious for that too. We got a Republican here. What's his name? Rice. I can't remember. South Carolina district that I'm in. His name's Rice or whatever it is. He flipped the vote, betrayed the entire Republican Party by doing it, because he wants a road, an interstate running from I-95 down into Myrtle Beach. I think they were calling it like I-73 or something is what they're calling it. Okay. But come to find out, he has shareholdings in that area. The land is going through is mostly swampland, right? So you figure who would own it? It's not that expensive, whatever. No, these guys planned this shit out about 10 years ago. His shareholders and his buddies and all these people own all the land down to the beach, from I-95 down to the beach, pretty much where this thing's going to be built.
So now they're getting paid.
Yeah, and then they own a big strip of this area that's supposed to be like a national forest or something like that. I can't remember, right along the beach. But now there's plans on getting rid of that and building, what do you call them, hotels and stuff like that, or like condos and shit, right off the I-73 exit when they complete it. Okay. And I'm like, there's something close to along the lines of almost like $1 billion worth of land and that's going to go into this building, and then they're going to make their money off of it. So politicians are just shit. They're not trying to help the people. They're just trying to line their pockets.
We have a big thing here in Texas right now, and it's been kind of on the back burner for a bunch of years, but there is talking about a high-speed rail between the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area down to Houston, where you can get down to Houston in like an hour.
Cool. That'd be cool. That would be really cool to see.
That would be cool, but something like that, I'm just like, okay, who's proposing this, and what interests do they have between here and Houston? Like land, like what you just talked about. What do they have that they're going to be making money on between here and Houston? And it sucks to have such a cynical view of people that represent you, from the school board to city council to the state representatives into the federal areas. It's just what are they pushing for, and how does that benefit them? And it's rare to see someone who sits in a federal seat that is like the people, my constituents want this, and to have them legislate on behalf of their constituents. It's always,
I mean, people here want the interstate. They want it because it'll push all the tourists away from the main roads around here, because we got congestion like crazy here. But when you read into it, and it was like, well, he's pushing real hard for this, and that's all he's talking about, like, cool. But then when you read into it, the reason why he's pushing so hard for it, I guess, being a politician, you can think these things through, and you've got the cash and the friends to work things out. All that land tract was purchased up. So, I mean, okay, it's like I grew up in a place where I was born, Altoona, a little town in Pennsylvania. When they built the VA up there, the VA hospital, everyone was like, why did they build the VA hospital backwards? Because the main road going through the little town, when they built it, it was facing the mountains. And we're like trying to figure out why would they do that? Why did all of a sudden now a new interstate comes in? So it's like they knew that the interstate was coming in before before the VA hospital was completed at that point. You know, everyone was just confused, and it was kind of funny. And you know, like the senator that was behind it had owned all that little land tract back there, and he knew exactly where that interstate was going. And it's just ridiculous at that point.
So the reason why the VA hospital was pointed in the other direction is because that puts the interstate in the backyard of the VA as opposed to the front yard. Is that what you're saying?
No, it would have been it says VA hospital, with like the main sign on it.
Oh, okay.
We were all everyone was trying to figure out why it was facing towards the mountains. There's no roads back there. There's no nothing.
Oh, gotcha.
And then a new interstate. Not even a couple years later, a new interstate came in, and the senator that was involved with it, the big senator that was involved with it, owned all that land tract behind it, and so he already knew what was happening. You know, yeah.
Politics is a slimy business, man. Politics is slimy.
I mean, it's a really nice VA hospital, though. I will say that much.
I've got lots of. I mean, I've only got good things to say about our VA hospital here in Fort Worth. You know, they have and I don't know if this is because it's coronavirus related or whatever, but we've got valet parking at our VA hospital.
But you pay for it and they park for you?
I haven't used it. I'm not going to use it, but it was just weird.
That's kind of cool, I guess, in a sense.
It showed up after it's post-pandemic. It showed up after the pandemic hit. But yeah, they got like the little kiosk there, and you know you can drive your car, and I see people use it. And you drive up, you get out of your car, you hand off your keys. It's just like going to some of the higher end restaurants here. It's all kind of like a bougie VA experience.
I know they just finished building the new facility here in Myrtle Beach, because most of the time, like if you needed anything, you had to go the whole way down to Charleston, which is it's not far, maybe 45 miles, 50 miles away, but still, I mean, the new facility here could cover most of the stuff that they do down in Charleston. So I'm kind of happy about that, because that's like 6 miles from my house compared to 45 miles from my house. So thank you, VA, making my life a little easier.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is if I needed emergency care or whatever, the closest VA actual quote-unquote hospital is in Dallas, and I hate Dallas. Nothing personal against Dallas.
If you needed emergency care, you go anywhere you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I've got regular insurance too, so that.
Okay. I thought the way it worked, you can go anywhere you need to. You just say, hey, the VA covers it until they can get you to the VA hospital, pretty much.
To somewhere else, yeah. They don't have my VA doesn't have emergency services. So if I'm in a bad wreck, I'm going to be taken to probably, Scott and White or some big hospital.
The hospital right down the street from me. I literally walked to the freaking hospital emergency.
Well, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Biloxi VA had valet parking even before the pandemic. Wow. Biloxi VA. I'm guessing that's Mississippi? I'm also guessing, Quinn, that says Biloxi and not Bukkake.
Bukkake.
Bikoxi. I think that says B-I. See, K is next to L on the keyboard, so Biloxi. Got to be Mississippi. All right. I guess we're done.
Yeah, we've done run out of shit to talk about, it seems like.
We did. I mean, we got a show lineup Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But the only shows that are happening right now are going to be on Tuesdays, which is Pop Culture Warrior with CQ, and Fridays, which is me and Pookie with Friday Night Freedom. Ice and Spanky are still on vacation. They're like doing the old Temple. I didn't know the VA in Temple had valet before the pandemic. That's pretty damn cool. Nearest stabilizing medical facility is the rule in emergencies. So that's cool. And I'm cool with that. Dude, make me good. Keep me alive. I don't care where you take me. It's not like they're going to kill me if I can't pay the bill, right?
Exactly.
Pardon me, sir. We're gonna have to bring you in here. You're not paying the bill, so we're gonna have to kill you.
What was that movie? The Repo? What was it?
Repo Man.
The Repo Man. Repo people's organs.
That's kind of sick and dark, and I kind of like that. So yeah, we're down to 2 shows a week, but Ice and Spanky are coming back, and Flash is out doing Flash things. So the Monday edition and Sergeant's Time are on hiatus until further notice. So you can look forward to CQ. The Pop Culture Warrior is going to be on Tuesday nights, and Friday Night Freedom is always going to happen here on Friday nights. All the times are 2000 hours Eastern. We've got some guests lined up. I think CQ's got a guest this Tuesday. I don't know that for sure. I didn't, when I put the show together today at around lunchtime, I hadn't had any updates. So tune in on Tuesdays for CQ and the Pulp Culture Warrior and Radar, the guy in the bubble.
Oh man,
Radar's the bubble boy. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Wear a condom? We're in Fayetteville. No one gets STDs here.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I'll see you around.
Necessary for me to drink my own urine? No.
Radio. WTF Nation Radio.